Let's discuss all of this with John Herbst in Washington, D.C. He's the former U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine and the Senior Director of the Atlantic Council's Eurasia Center. Ambassador, thank you so much for joining us on this program. So there was no ceasefire today, but most people didn't expect that to actually happen. A significant prisoner exchange and talk of more talks in the future. Is this a step in the right direction?
It's a step in a side direction. The one good thing from the talks today, and this is important, was the agreement to exchange 1,000 prisoners on each side. But the talks today were a Putin victory at diffusing, at least for a period of time, the possibility of additional sanctions on Russia for refusing to end the fighting. The reason why this war continues is that Putin wants to gain more territory. And the actual discussion of possibly ending the war today in Istanbul was kind of a joke. The Russian proposal was that Ukrainian forces have to pull back from Ukrainian territory that Russia claims but does not control. That is not serious.
Do you think then that there needs to be the 30-day ceasefire proposed by Ukraine and its allies before, quote unquote, real talks can actually begin?
Well, I think you actually did not fully characterize the ceasefire proposal properly. The ceasefire proposal properly was Donald Trump's. And he posed that to the Ukrainians on March 18 in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, and the Ukrainians said yes. He posed it to the Kremlin a day or two later, and they have rejected it. So Trump's own proposal for a ceasefire has been accepted by Ukraine and rejected by Russia. And Trump said, as he put his proposals together, that he would put maximum pressure on the side that is an obstacle to peace. And so far, Trump has put only a little bit of pressure on Russia and a great deal of pressure on Ukraine. And that's a serious flaw in his approach. But I believe he is taking a step in the right direction. He took a step in the right direction 2 weeks ago after he signed the mineral deal, and he approved the shipment to Ukraine of 2 different packages of American military supplies. That was a step in the right direction. But Trump took a step in the wrong direction when last Sunday, after the leaders of Europe, France, Poland, the UK, and Germany, in Kiev with Zelensky, proposed sanctions on Russia for not agreeing to a ceasefire, and Putin changed the subject by proposing direct negotiations, which he then refused to attend. That's a problem. President Trump did not make the right move when he helped Putin get away with that obvious, cynical ploy.
But Trump has now said that the only way there'll be any real progress is for a face-to-face between him and Vladimir Putin. Do you think that will be the case?
Well, I think that's possible. I think Putin does worry about Trump, but he's also been able to manipulate Trump, and I say that with great sadness. President Trump is the president of the United States, after all. But Putin has played Trump along, not accepting Trump's proposals, and Trump has only taken some steps recently, 2 weeks ago, as I described, to put pressure on the Kremlin. If Trump meets with Putin and says, if you don't agree in a certain period of time, not too distant future, to the general ceasefire, I'm going to release substantial arms supplies to Ukraine, and with my European colleagues, I'm going to put massive new sanctions on Russia, he could get Putin to the table. But that's what's required. Not the meeting itself, but the strong message from Trump of consequences that will make Putin's life difficult if Putin continues to block peace. That's what's needed.
John Herbst, always good to get your opinion and your analysis of this situation.
Thank you.
Right to us there from the U.S.
My
Capitol.
pleasure.
Thank you so much, Ambassador.